Thank you for tuning in to Cop with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen, and we're here with comic Zach Russell. Zach Russell, how the hell are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. I know I follow you online on Instagram. You're Zach Russell Comedy. And at Twitter, it just rolls right off the tongue. You are Russell __ Mania.
Double underscore rolls right off the tongue.
It's because Russell Mania was sweeping the nation before the pandemic did.
It was, and now I'm trying to replace WrestleMania with my comedy. That's my bio for now.
Yes. Well, I fucking love it. And you also have your own channel on the YouTube, your Zach Russell Comedy.
Yes, correct.
And that's where you've been kind of replacing your stand-up. And I know you recently were at the Fifth Borough Comedy Fest.
Yeah, I was.
You are still doing it, but in the meantime, you're trying to supplement it with some digital comedy, some online videos.
Yeah, I'm focusing mainly on digital right now. Yeah, the Staten Island Comedy Festival held in New Jersey.
Yeah, that was weird. I had John Kirshner on.
Yeah.
And I was trying to suss out what the Fifth Borough is. So is Fifth Borough of Staten or is it Jersey?
Fifth Borough, Sixth Borough is Jersey. But I think for tax purposes, I don't know why. He decided to relocate. It was at the Wawa Social Club, which great show. Glad he put it on. A lot of Native American stuff at the Wawa Social Club. A lot of like headdresses, red skin, like pretty, behind the times. But great show. Glad to have done it and burn that bridge just now with the Wawa Social Club, not with John.
Yes, I try to get the ear to the ground. In the aggregate, how is comedy looking? Like listening to, I think he caught 50 of the sets or whatever. He says, dude, it's great, man. The comedy's fucking great right now. Everybody's ditching their old tired shit and coming up with new stuff.
It feels like you can't return to what you were doing based on everything that's happening. It would be kind of a rejection of time moving forward. Like you can't keep doing. I feel that way. That's why I feel more liberated to post all these bits that I was doing online, because I might do them, if I have to do a long set, but if I go to an open mic or a show, I'm not talking about the thing I talked about before I only lived inside.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if it's autobiographical, you even have to do it through the COVID lens now. Because even John Kirshner was like, yeah, I mean, I can still take my daughter to school, but, she's only going to school X, Y, and Z days a week because of COVID. And so everything is kind of altered because of COVID. So even back in the day, you were during college, you were in a really fucking cool club that would be pretty difficult inside. You were parkour. Zach Russell was parkour, right?
I was in a parkour. It wasn't a club technically for insurance purposes. The school didn't want to put that in their coverage. Those kids doing backflips off the chem building. So we weren't a club. We were an assembly, a group. I don't know. But I was in the parkour club. You do a lot of things in college to make friends. And I did parkour, and I separated my shoulder. I had to get stitches on my shins. My parents legitimately thought I was like depressed and just killing myself in the slowest way possible.
Yeah. My Lord, it sounds like maybe you were if you needed parkour to get friends, right? I mean, did it work? Did you find some cool people?
No, I actually got hazed out of the club.
How do you get hazed out of parkour? Because you like separated your shoulders? Like you're bad at this, dude. We got to haze this motherfucker out of here.
Well, it was, I call it hazing. They call it initiation. It was a hellish parade of virgins into Boston. And we all, it's like these kids, I found out about parkour. I majored in computer science. I found out about parkour through the computer science kids. So this gives you the caliber of people. Like there was the guy who led the club. He was a black belt in karate. He was ripped. He was small. He was Italian. He could do a flip standing from the, he was amazing. He's a power lifter. Yeah. And then everyone else who joined the club was it like in Comp Sci 101. We're pimply. We're just a bunch of guys who saw American Ninja Warrior and were like, that could be us.
And what was it, the head guy, the hard ass who was kind of like putting everybody through the hazing, or was it everybody else thinking, I've never been a part of a club before, we should haze people?
That's funny, yeah. This is the thing clubs do.
We're nerds. We won't be in any other clubs. Might as well do it.
Yeah, chess club certainly hazes their members. No, so what did this I mean, like any organization, you have kind of like a hierarchy where it starts with this guy, but then people start to buy into this guy's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
They start powerlifting. There's always those buff comp sci guys in the gym. There's just a few of them where you're like, you're going to be a millionaire
Yeah.
and you're going to be ripped and your life is, you're almost autistic how well you're doing. And so that was kind of the group. There were some nerds, some people had been indoctrinated, and the mission, the night was like they just told us to meet up at the train to get the last train into Boston. This is when I lived in Boston and went to Boston College, is where this all happened.
Oh gosh.
And we went into Boston. We caught the last train out. He told us to bring sweatshirts and stuff. We weren't going to be sleeping all night. And on the train there, he was like, if you laugh, you get a point. If you smile, you get a point. You don't want points. And we're like, all right. And when we got off the train, he told us to get on our hands and knees and crawl backwards up the subway stairs,
No.
which I guess was half exercise and half parkour. And then
Yeah.
he's like, we're just fucking with you guys. We're just going to go around the city doing parkour all night. And then we're going to watch the sunrise at a diner. I'm like, that sounds like bullshit. I don't want to do this.
Why? I mean, that sounds like it's. I
No,
mean,
dude, it's you. If you've done park, you're literally jumping around
yeah.
at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And after 3 a.m., there's no such thing as like, oh, this is such a sick spot. No one's thinking that. Everyone's like, it's us and homeless people roaming around the
Uh,
streets. It's not a very fun vibe. And
so
these
it's
are all
cool if
comp
you're
sci
in the bar
kids.
district at like midnight or something. It might be fun because you have an audience. It feels hip, feels
Yeah,
alive. Okay.
yeah, yeah. We're like some post-apocalyptic band of idiots like
Yeah.
doing jumping jacks on a children's playground at 3 a.m.
I mean, but it beats the alternative. I mean, for a second there, it could have gotten pretty sick. I mean, going up fucking stairs backwards, like subway stairs, that's disgusting. It could have been so much worse.
That's true. I did think the points were going to come into play. Someone was going to get, paddled. I don't know.
Oh yeah, so nothing happened with the points even. Man, that
Nothing
was fucked
happened with the
up.
points. I know. It was not only was it an annoying experience, it was poorly orchestrated.
Yeah, because I mean, the whole way there, you're wearing like for us, I was in a fraternity and they had just almost got kicked off the campus for hazing or whatever. So we were the class where the pledge brother, I mean, the brothers, the older
Uh,
brothers, they were disappointed they couldn't haze us. So the whole
I
time.
would be disappointed.
Oh yeah, and so at the end of the week, I was like, "This was bullshit." Like everybody had to get up and give this big old speech. I'm like, "Dude, either haze us or shut the fuck up about missing hazing us. Like make these activities meaningful. Like they still put that metal confetti on the ground and we had to sleep on it. Like it's like, and so they're like, all right, well, how a fraternity works is if you bitch about something, you have to fix it. So then I was elected to the pledge week for the following fucking thing, and I had to make up all these meaningful activities. So it's fucking yeah. It could have been worse, Jack Russell. You could have been planning the following hazing ritual.
For yourself, were you like digging your own grave?
Oh no, like yeah, just for the next one. Like I was so pissed off about the week that I talked shit at the end, and so for the next pledge class, I had to plan it. So I did
Okay.
plan it with these other people, but then I never attended it because fuck them, I transferred. So I went to five. Yeah, I went to five, like four colleges in 3.5 years. So that was me. But yeah, so after that, were you traumatized by the whole thing, and it's got you smoking tons of weed now, like PTSD?
It was actually it was legitimately like I was also having other issues in college and just like making friends and stuff. So I was legitimately not happy. I was exhausted.
Yeah,
There was one guy on the trip who had a midterm the next day. I'm like, you're retarded. What are you doing?
yeah.
You're a sophomore in college. So I didn't like that experience. Yeah, I do I do smoke a lot of weed. I don't know. It's just what else do you do right now? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm producing stuff online, I guess. I'm writing things, I'm putting it online, but there's so many hours in the day
Right.
that it's just so easy to smoke away. I do use weed like Adderall kind of.
Okay. It helps you focus or no?
It helps me focus. I think it doesn't allow me to I get so bored. I get so like ADD that the
Yeah.
only thing I can do is like work out or write or film something. Everything else is meaningless because I'm like, this is really done. My mind is in so many places. It kind of hones me in, which is
Yeah.
probably not healthy. If you like need something, you need a substance. But that's been my life, and I want this to be a time capsule. Brian
But I mean,
Koppen, of my life.
but if it legitimately, like, if it sounds like if your brain is all over the place, maybe you do have something that would normally be remedied by Adderall or whatever the fuck it is, and so weed is probably healthier than Adderall, I would think.
Yeah, it could. I would agree with that. I would. The only problem is Adderall, you actually get stuff done. You actually accomplish things. Weed, like I made dinner one night when I was super high, and like that was my night. I was like,
I
man, this
make
is
dinner.
living. It was a good dinner. It was, there was a lot of pots and stuff on the
Oh,
stove.
oh yeah, I'm watching all these fucking cooking videos. I was like, dude, I don't own any pots. Like I have OCD such that like I won't even go in the kitchen because I don't want to fucking like check the oven after I use it and shit.
Mm.
And so like I probably should be on something like weed or whatever. But I'm watching all these cooking shows just because it's like, oh man, that would be good if I knew how to make that shit. But it's such a fucking like it would take weed to like do all the fucking shit they're doing. There's like 85 steps to cooking, dude. Like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
actually
kind
proud of
of
your accomplishment.
yeah. It's kind of you're committing to only being able to mentally focus on one thing, and so you can now do that one thing, right? Instead of being able to just sit there bored out of your mind. Like you'll have to focus because you'll almost feel paralyzed if you don't do it.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty solid, man. Like, is it just because of the pandemic? Like before you were feeling, I mean, it sounds like after a disappointing college experience where you should have done what I did, which is fucking, gone to 4 schools in 3.5 years.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah, that's the weed ADD version of that. Just remedy it by transferring it. But at some point you found comedy. And so like that must have been nice to find your crew of people where you could kind of go around and make each other laugh.
Well, I did. I was in a comedy group
Okay.
in at college too, and that was, I it's funny because I joined parkour after that, even because I thought, I don't know, I needed more friends. I was an idiot, but I love the comedy group, and that's what introduced me to stand. It was a sketch and improv group called Asinine, and it was great. I mean, Amy Poehler was in Fleabag, so that's always the one that's talked about. But I swear to God, if I don't die of a drug overdose or get famous, Asinine's going to be known. Asinine's going to be in some obituary somewhere.
Yes. And so I mean you
Um,
guys were fucking cool, so it made you think that, oh man, this is a lot of fun. And is that why you moved to New York City or no?
yeah, I mean, that's why I stayed in Boston for a few years, doing stand up and meeting other people who do comedy and just getting more in the world. And then ultimately, yeah, moving to New York. There's a big talent drain. Not that not that I'm capital T talent, but there's a big drain because there's the ceiling's so high. Everyone's so good here. It
Yeah.
was it was humbling. It was like really inspiring when I first moved here. You see some of the best comics in the world, and so it was really awesome when I moved here. I'm like, geez, I really have to be serious about this now.
And so you reacted to that by going to, 3 mics a night or whatever. And at some point you got good enough where that was no longer, or just the pandemic happened. So now you can't even go to 3 mics a night and do 4 shows a night or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone. I mean, I would try to go to a mic and a show a night. I think that would be, I think the hanging out. It's so weird. I'm talking about this like it's in a museum somewhere, like we're sociologists exploring a past history.
Yes.
But it really, I mean, hanging out and just not being known as a dick and being able to talk to people is as important as being funny. So you have to have
Yeah.
both. The good thing about being only online is people can just see your work for your work. You don't have to hang out with them. They like your shit. You're like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I no longer have to be a good hang. That's so funny. But even there has to be like a mood element to it. I had Maddie Smith on it. She said something like, "Yeah,
She's great.
oh yeah, she's fucking hilarious." She's like, when you're on 4 shows a night, you're guaranteed to kill it at least once or something."
Yes.
And so that would be
Yes.
kind of a mood uplift for her. Whereas, other people, I suppose, could get it via Twitter or whatever. Like, are you kind of applying like Joe Pontillo is one of the prolific Twitter comics. So I would think that he'd get a lot of joy out of, making his jokes all day long. Are you doing the Twitter game pretty prolifically?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, you got to shift what your supply of dopamine, just like Maddie was saying. Whatever she was in Isabel Hagen's great web series that everyone should go check out. Is a violist, I think it's called. But that was, I mean, people are doing other things to make them fulfilled, and it's also really cool. It's the same level. It's just in a different platform, but it's the same level of you see people doing things that you want to do or that you hadn't even thought of doing before. But yeah, you got to shift your dopamine sources, because I mean, to be honest, I get ecstatic whenever I talk to someone during the day, because I'm like, oh, this is human connection. Like I
Yeah.
am more I am more happy talking to you now than I normally would be outside of a pandemic. I am pretty bubbly right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
and it's
Normally, you'd be like
because I
fucking
don't
Brian.
talk to anyone.
Yeah, you'd be like, shit, I got a cop one comic today. Fuck. That's another thing I don't need. I have 3 shows tonight. But yes, I mean, when is the next big, like, sitcom for you? Like, I had Todd Montesi on today, and he said something like they started getting some of these, like Chuck Norris via Cameo and shit, like, and they're working that into their little sitcom. And, I know Ray DeVito did that thing that had Maddie Smith in it, where, what was it, Liz Mealy or whatever the fuck her name is. I don't know, they broke up in the sitcom, and everybody was in it. Like it was fucking Mark Norman was there, as Michael Harrison, just all these fucking people.
Mhm.
Just I mean, it was just Bob Biggerstaff was at the end there. Like a lot of former guests were in it. It was great. Like where is the Zach Russell big fucking sitcom episode that we're all going to point to and be like, here's what he's been busy doing when he's not busy getting high and cooking a fucking meal.
Yeah, no pressure with that. With
Yeah,
that, but yeah, what's
yeah.
the big thing you've been working on that you want to tell us all about? Oh, do you have one, by the way?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at your stills here on Zach Russell comedy on YouTube, and I
Yeah,
see one that looks like it's a stand-up clip. Have you been apple picking?
I
But
of
then you
course
have,
have been apple picking.
yeah, but I mean that's a stand-up short. But then trapped in a college quarantine dorm. What is that? I'm gonna fire that up now. Is that like a comedy short?
Yeah, it's a short. I mean, it's between a sketch and it's not really a short film, but it's just this funny-ish video that my friend Eric Scott and I put together, just talking about the COVID isolation dorms and how shittily their colleges are handling it they're just not giving them the right provisions that they need to be quarantined in college,
Okay.
because nobody really knows what they're doing, and it seems like there's some big negligence on some universities' parts, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm really currently, I think, trying to just post more stuff on YouTube. I mean, I got some things that got some decent traction on there. I did this stupid little character of like mom watches Hamilton got a lot of views. And
Yeah, I
whenever
see
you get
this.
views, kind of like what Maddie was saying, you have to chase that. You have to be like, oh, well, I'm now a comic who talks about the musical Hamilton.
Yeah, so right here
So
I see
I
dad watching Hamilton on Disney Plus. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I did a dad version, and that, that got probably 1% of the views of the other one.
But it's
But
still, yeah, 1,600 views. That's fucking amazing. And I see in the description it says that is the tallest 12-year-old I've ever seen. I love that.
well, if you've seen, I mean, I think you'll enjoy it if you've seen the musical, but it's just weird, like TikTok and these other, which you can put on YouTube. I think it's so funny when I see a TikTok that's been put on YouTube. I'm like, you think this little shitty video is so good to migrate platforms?
Yeah, oh my Lord. Yeah. So I mean
But
the
that's
hit
the
hit
thing you
count
have to
must
get
be
over.
minuscule. Like on YouTube compared to TikTok, like they could get 1 million views on TikTok and get what 1,000 on YouTube.
But that's the thing you have to get over is
Yeah.
kind of yourself. You're like, I'm gonna look like a jackass if I post my TikToks on YouTube. But
Yeah.
no, you're not. You're just helping people discover you. And if they like you, then they'll look at it. And if they don't like you, then who cares?
Yes. That's
Uh,
fucking Zach Russell, man. That's him on pot, just focusing on the one thing. Like, yo, man, will people think I'm trash if I don't get 1 million hits on my YouTube video, bro?
Who cares, dude?
Yeah, let me smoke some pot. Let me do some parkour, bro. Are you
Let me do some
Yeah.
hardcore
Well, let me do some.
parkour.
Oh yeah, like so. I'm thinking, like, are you like? I would actually fire up a Zach Russell comedy video if it's you revisiting that parkour night. Are we ever going to see a theatrical reenactment of that night of you doing parkour and just hating it?
A theatrical reenactment could be
Yeah.
a bit much. I could see I've done it at a few storytelling shows, so I mean I could see doing maybe a front-facing video. I don't think you're going to see a multicam Michael Bay parkour content coming out of my YouTube anytime soon. But if you want to fund it, I'll explore the option with
Oh,
you.
I fucking love that. I'm looking at one of your other stills now. It says comedian proficient in Spanish eats shit. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I went to DC with my friend Gabe Pereira,
Okay.
and he did pretty well. I went up first, and everyone was super drunk, and they all happened to be Spanish speakers. I'm kidding, but everyone was speaking like they weren't speaking Spanish, but there was Spanish being spoken, and it was also just more so extremely rowdy. Like they didn't know what a comedy show was. A guy
Uh,
standing up had pissed himself before the show as the host got up and started talking. Who, by the way, if you're a host, I'm talking about a past time again, but if you're a host at a stand-up comedy show and all you do is talk to the audience, you need to kill yourself. That's not your
yeah,
job,
because
you
you're
know?
teaching them that it's okay to talk during a show.
Talk, that's all he did was just
Yeah.
interact with drunk people and not even control. He lost control before the show even started.
That's fucking hilarious. Like some of this stuff on here, it says perform on a steamboat.
Yeah, that was just about. I mean, I gotta hand it to anyone producing stand-up comedy shows right now. That's you have to go out in a fucking field and erect an umbrella and gather people. It's ritualistic what people are doing, and I think it's great. I think it's great that people are doing stand-up in the park and like we're all just agreeing that it's a show.
I love it. It's ritualistic what people are doing. I love it. I have my umbrella. I'm setting up my umbrella. This is what I do with my
This
comedy
is a
show these
show.
days.
This is a
I love
show.
that. And so, yeah, one of them says, and this will be the final question, it says, first impression of Instagram Reels. Like, I have yet to hear somebody who's had experience with Instagram Reels. So tell me about it. Like, how does it compare with TikTok?
I don't know. My reaction was just like, oh great, I have to post something in some other shitty place. That was my reaction. Let me tell you one quick thing before we go that just
Okay.
happened to me today that I just remembered
Yeah.
is I should have opened with this, but I found someone's phone
Okay.
on a park bench in Central Park and I unlocked it. Or so I didn't unlock, I just swiped and it was unlocked. No security. And the
Right.
background is a picture of boobs. Just but not okay, Brian, it's not like Sofia Vergara a nude. It's like some woman's personal picture of her own
Yes.
boobs.
Oh my gosh.
No secure. If I were putting a picture of my balls as or
Yeah.
someone else's balls as my background,
Yeah.
I would associate it with a 4-digit security code.
Yeah, but maybe it's not was I mean, it could have been a dude's phone and that's his girlfriend's
That's
tits or something.
fair. Lock it
Yeah.
up, dude. Lock up your phone and don't leave. I have his credit cards, which by the way, it's like a Visa, but it's like Star Wars branded. It's like a
Yeah.
Star Wars Visa. It's like this guy.
Oh, that guy's precious. You'll be able to fill in his backstory pretty easily. Like, because there can be so many sources of, like, so many reasons that those boobs were the background on the phone.
Right.
And it's made even that much more hilarious and interesting because he's got a Star Wars credit card.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I am looking forward to meeting him or her if it's her. It would be funny if it's her phone and
Yeah.
it's her. She just like has to remind herself every day that she was that fun that one night.
These are my boobs. And this is the Visa Star Wars card that somebody gave me to see my boobs. And did you go through the rest of the phone to see if there was any more nudes?
No, no, I didn't go through the phone. All I did was
Yes.
there was a notification that said like, "Hope you enjoyed your stay at this hotel," and I just saw their email, so I emailed them like, "Nice tits, I got your phone."
Oh no. And
I
of
didn't
course
say
you would,
nice tits, but
yeah, of course
I
you
did
wouldn't look.
say you have an interesting background. Let me know if you want your phone back.
Is this going to be a front-facing video, the explanation of how this went down?
I did post a video on TikTok already. I'm kind of
Yes.
just shit posting to TikTok. I think that's an actual strategy. I think that's
Okay.
a content strategy is just post a video of yourself saying something mildly entertaining and it will
Okay.
probably get hundreds of thousands of views more than a video you spent 20 hours making.
Gosh, isn't that just the way of it?
Yeah,
But also, I mean, you're churning out consistent content. I'm more likely to follow your account anyway.
that's
That's
true.
just so fun. I'm waiting for that fucking front-facing video because I follow him here, Zach Russell Comedy, and he's of course Russell Mania, which was sweeping the nation, and that was the name of his parkour troupe.
Indeed. Indeed, my troop. We
Yeah,
traveled around and
yeah,
we fell in front of audiences.
yeah. And he's fucking Zach Russell Comedy on YouTube, where he's just got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of followers, thousands of views. He's the dad watching Hamilton on Disney Plus.
That's right, man. It was a
Oh.
pleasure talking to you, man. I appreciate you having me on. This was all I was doing. This is the only thing I had to do today.
I hope you smoked weed beforehand.
I did, and I think it showed.
Dude, Zach Russell, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Brian.